Well. Good afternoon, friends. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Wednesday, 30th of October, or so my production notes tell me. It is. I'm on the banks of the Bacala Laguna here, and I have in the studio with me to kick off the 40th Lazarus Symposium, a very dear friend who I've only known in the course really of the last year, and who I joined me on tour in the United Kingdom on 2 or 3 dates earlier this summer, and who's now in Bacala, Mexico, with me, advancing his breakthrough research, the good Professor Dr. Alex Ling. Alex, I'm going to have to ask you to slide over. Guys, we're going to stay on the same. Frame there. Can you see us okay? Very good. So what are you doing in Mexico?
Well, I've been collecting water samples to extract the blueprint of the water over the last 3 months. And my latest research has revealed that there is so much more information within those blueprints that I could have ever imagined. It's just absolutely mind-blowing.
So to underscore, Alex came here. I was in Southern Africa and heard that Alex was in Mexico. I was like, Alex, you've got to go to Bacala Laguna. He was in Mexico City and doing his research, and he decided to fly into Bacala just for a day, maybe 2 days, and hasn't left. Okay, over a month later, hasn't left for good reason. To those of you who listen to my wheezing, you'll know that I've been speaking since I first arrived here over 2 years ago about the hyperdimensional nature of the water here. And I know that to be so, having got into it a couple of years ago and realized that how life-changing it is. But of course, not understanding that much about the hard science behind it. Having said that, I mean, Masaru Emoto was gracious enough to be an advisor on Humanitad's board years ago. Professor Glenn Ryan and Lee Lawrenson of the San Diego Research Institute that actually taught Masaru Emoto. I'm friendly with Lee and with Professor Glenn Ryan and have shared the stage. Veda Austin, I've done a number of shows with. And then, of course, meeting with Alex in the course of the last year and understanding the work that he's doing and how his research is really the interface between not just having fun with water and the memory of water. And I'm not belittling Masaru Emoto's work. I'm just saying that Alex's approach is hardcore. He is, and sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, his work is connected to a foundational understanding that water is the technology that changes reality. When we understand that water is the quantum medium that God gifts us in order to shift time, reality, space, and so on. That's the main piece. And so Alex's work is proving that out. This is not a segment on Alex's work. This is a countdown to a show that he and I are going to do on Tuesday. Yeah. We've decided to do a live broadcast wall to wall during the US shit show, the elections, that are going to be online and are going to be designed to blitzkrieg humanity and to enchant and to pull everyone's attention into the same old dialectic. Red, blue, black, white, good, bad, Satan, angel. Stop. There is a point at which we are required to stop giving our plasma, our attention, our God-given prana to these false icons and images playing out on the screen of life, as I keep putting it. Because so long as we put our Kundalini, our life force, into those images that are projected at us, we animate them. We make them manifest. And that then becomes the definition of false life reality. That's how the mindfuckery works. The draconian Babylonian priesthoods of age have always known that that's how you harness humanity, through false image, false idol and icon. So what we're doing, what Alex is going to be demonstrating to us in the show during the US election, is the new dreaming. How we remove our attention from the checkerboard of the kingdom of the devil, simply move our attention, pick up a glass, go to your swimming pool, go to your pond, go to your lake or the ocean front, go to your own water source, whatever it is, get that water, and he's going to show us a few tricks. So that's more or less where we're headed, but we're also going to go into the backstory of your research. We're going to show a lot of the images, the magic and the mystery, and you're going to also announce the repository of water coding from all around the world. Exactly. And that's a call to action to humanity.
Absolutely.
We'll speak on that in a moment.
Yes, we are trying to create, or we will create, a network of water guardians globally. So the idea behind it is not only to protect the waters in that way, but also to align again to the waters around the world as it used to be many thousands of years ago before they manipulated us into doing different. So it's very, very essential to raise the vibration of this planet together in humanity, with all humanity, and in connection with water. This is how we can change things, and I know it for sure.
And I want to say something else here, okay? A month ago, when I was in South Africa, Alex came on also to the last Lazarus Symposium, as some of you will remember. After that, he went on Coast to Coast, George Nouri's Coast to Coast show in America, okay? One of the biggest shows in the US. Halfway through that show, they went to a commercial break. Halfway through a live transmission, they went to a commercial break and the screen went black, and Alex never heard back from the network. Never heard back from George Nouri. George, love and respect you, brother. What the fuck? You don't do that to guests. Your staff have been blanking Dr. Ling. What's going on? You're supposed to write back or pick up the phone and say, hey, transmission's gone down, or the Pentagon have pulled the plug on this broadcast, Mr. Ling, because what you're trying to teach us in this broadcast is too controversial. We must not allow human beings to imprint water with the new dreaming, because that's the way we end war, disease, and poverty, right? So something is going on there. But seriously, Coast to Coast Radio, you guys, and you're not getting back to either Dr. Alex Ling or his agent when the plug was pulled halfway through a live transmission. Okay, a bit of controversy there, but it is a bit weird.
It was very, very strange, and most of my followers raised really quite a lot of questions about it, and they all were in agreement that obviously I have hit a nerve somewhere. So it's the only explanation.
Right. Well, there you go. Okay, friends, so that's basically the announcement. Countdown from today, the 30th, to the 5th, which is Tuesday. Christy, producer of Lazarus, is going to be producing that. It's going to be a live show. We're going to drop in. I don't even know what time it is, Christy, the actual election broadcasts. Maybe it's at some ungodly hour. In any event, it's going to be on the day. We're going to have fun. We'll bring some tricks out and invite as many of you who resonate to this call to action to join us with the new dreaming. And we're really going to unveil the tools, the toolbox of how we actually do this. And that's why Alex is here. That's why we're building him a laboratory here in the NewEarth Sanctuary in Mexico, because this is the seminal work of how we interface with so-called reality. In any event, Alex, I'm going to invite you back onto the panel with Charlie Zeese and Shanaz Soni and David Sarita a little bit later. But anything else you wish to say in closing?
No, only that this is going to change everything. How we connect with water is the answer to literally all our problems.
And here, just so you know, guys, here is some images of the water that Alex is forensically studying. These are all from where? These are from Bacala?
The previous one was, this one is the portal, showing the portal in Bacala, the Laguna of Bacala. Absolutely stunning image. And if you see just in the center, there's actually a ship flying right into the portal. Yeah. So the next one is, I think that's from Chacala area, from a laguna there. And it's showing some underwater dwelling. And we have been told by the indigenous people that there are remains of a village under the water. This again is actually the actual blueprint of Bacala. Absolutely stunning. You can see the blue area in the center, accompanied by this beautiful bird which is stretching out its wings underneath, carrying the energy. Yeah, it's mind blowing. This is water in motion. We have done some experiments where we are creating sounds to go hand in hand with the image. That is not quite ready yet, but that will be the next step.
Very good.
And that is from an ancient seabed, actually Linda Vista, which is on the edge of the zone of silence in Mexico, and revealing a structure, a pyramid structure underneath the sand. And again, the indigenous people ensured us that this is exactly what's underneath. The latest image is almost telling us what maybe is going to happen. It could be a picture from the past or future. This is showing a volcano. This image was taken in Tulum in the Laguna, and showing clearly a volcano which is active.
Was it a cenote or a laguna?
It was a cenote.
Okay.
And this one is again from Bacala. We placed another question asking, is this really a portal? And it's shown us even a bigger ship this time flying into the portal.
Very good. Okay, well, that's just a little teaser. Thanks, Alex, and we'll see you on the panel shortly. All right, friends, a little teaser. Let's move on swiftly. We're 11 minutes past the hour. We are marking today the launch of the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy, NESA for short. And this is a transformative initiative designed to empower individuals to embrace your personal sovereignty. And in this age of unbearable calamity and collapse, the imperative is there. It's so obvious that each of us are required now to step in and step up to a higher expression of who and what we are and why we incarnated onto this earthly plane. We did not come into this realm. We did not project or beam the plasma of our limitless, infinite souls into this quadrant of a creation in order to become enslaved to the Pentagon or to the Vatican or to the crowns or to the governments, or should I say privately owned corporations masquerading as government. We didn't come for that. We came for far different, far higher purposes and missions. The thing is that the last great age of the Luciferian false light matrix, the Kali Yuga, did indenture all of us psycho-civilizationally and incarnationally into a grand sleep, a great sleep. And it's the awakening from that sleep that we are now being met with. And those of us who are either bold enough or indeed meek of heart enough, which is to say the same thing, because the meek amongst us are the boldest amongst us. I learned that a long time ago. But it is incumbent upon those who are the most bold and the most meek to awaken within the dream spell, to actualize, and in so doing, resurrect the soul of humanity, of this entire earth plane. So that's where we're at. And I'm putting a bit of a gloss on the subject because it's a desperately serious one. It's the difference between the living and the dead, whether we understand law or whether we continue to bow and scrape and acquiesce and pay coin to Caesar and hope that we can get through another week, another month, another year without being spotted by the lords of time and dragged into shackles and thrown into debtor's prison or bankruptcy or morbid depression. All of the afflictions of entropy in our age, the misery, the poverty, the destitution that the overwhelming majority of humanity suffer from. That's something which we are the custodian. That's a change. That is the great change which we are the custodians of. But we do it through alchemizing ourselves, do we not? And that's the point here. And that's the point of the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy. So this is not And the preamble is because this is not about how to get out of paying taxes. That's part of it. That's a delightful part of it. It's not how to claim a allodial title and tell the government to go and fuck itself. Yes, it's part of it. That's a bauble. It's about a great deal more than that. It's about how we bring ourselves into the divine, into our own immeasurable spirit of our own divinity. That's what this academy is about. So be clear, if you just want to sign up to learn how not to pay taxes, honestly, Google, go and check it elsewhere. You'll find shoddy coursework, some of it good, some of it lousy, some of it bloody dangerous. Go try that. But this is for alchemy. This is for alchemizing your soul. This is for alchemizing your standing in life. This is for alchemizing your lives and the lives of your families. So friends, very, very excited to be announcing today the onset of the Sovereignty Academy, the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy. Stand by. This is a brief promo before I bring on our maestro, Marsha Willitson.
Government is mandated to serve humanity, not to enslave it. Laws are purposed to ensure justice and remedy, not become the utility of slave masters to penalize and oppress humanity. Police and civil servants are sworn to protect us and ensure the smooth function of society, not to terrorize and bully the common folk. No part of the status quo serves the living so long as the apparatus of governance is weaponized against reason and against the pulse of humanity. It is time to turn the tide. Break free from the past and embrace the eternal. Your journey to sovereignty starts here. Introducing the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy, born from a global awakening, guiding us beyond the old systems of control. Enter your highest realm, your divine birthright. Reclaim your sovereignty and align mind, body, and soul with a noble path. Crafted to empower those seeking true sovereignty, our coursework guides you through overcoming personal and external barriers. It leads you from self-discovery to profound spiritual alignment, enabling you to embrace your highest potential and activate your sovereign self. Unlock the power of true freedom. Join the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy today. Become part of a vibrant community where connections deepen, spiritual growth thrives, and love radiates. Your journey to empowerment begins now.
Okay, friends, so there you have it. You can see the strip below, academy.newearthhorizon.com. You can go there and you can sign up to the coursework, which launches imminently. And this thought first came when I was on tour earlier this year. There were two things that happened. One, Alexandra, my tour producer in the US, and she's a student of law, and one of those kind of radical characters who despises all things fictitious, all governments, and all the abrogations and derogations of government. But she does the work and she studies up diligently on this stuff. And so we got talking on tour about, oh God, wouldn't it be great to, and Marsha Willitson is the person I met earlier this year for the first time, not known her. I met her when I was in Nevada City. And I was so taken with her and fell so in love with all that she represents when she got on the stage. Before I did my lecture, she got on the stage for about an hour, and it absolutely blew me away. And I've been a student of sort of esoteric stuff in law for a long time, which is why I founded the International Tribunal. And I care about natural justice. I deeply, deeply care about it. But I also understand it's a very complex subject when you really get, or is it? Or is it a really complex subject? And this is where Marsha comes in, because she does kind of throw, this extraordinary filigreed, hand-woven kind of dragnet of love and beauty. She throws it over you and then pulls you in to a space of really being in the now and becoming very attentive to your own standing under the central sun. And you are required to see yourself, and you're required to address yourself, and then step over the threshold. and then become reborn into the living testament, the living gospel, which is what real natural law is all about. That's what Christ worship is all about. That's what religiosity is all about. That's the thing we're truly seeking. So without much ado, I'm going to bring on Marcia. Good to see you, Marcia. You'll need to unmute your microphone. Sorry, that would have been done when you were in the studio.
Hello, Sacha.
Well, good to see you. And I also want to quickly bring on Alexandra to say hi, and Dr. Maneli Sharafian, who is on our team. So we have a professor, we have an avid law student, and we have the greatest maestro in law that I know, Marshall Willardson, and we have me, the reckless one, here. And we are the founding premise friends of the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy. Marcia, why is it important?
Well, it is important because when we've been trained, we have a habit of thinking that has been engineered. There's actually a formula that we look at, we study, we develop, and we see how this formula has really evolved our habit of thinking. You're talking about how our thinking impacts the water and how it is that we change. So not only do I throw the book at you and we start reading very deeply into how this is all structured, but the most important part of the discourse is that we begin to examine ourselves in the face of what we're seeing. How are we observing ourselves? I call us the quantum observer in the process. How do we now see our thinking has been designed to bring the resonance and control? And when we do that, we go from coming from that sovereignty, we begin to break that mold of there's somebody out there doing it to us. We begin to take responsibility for altering our thinking and then changing what happens out in the dream.
Beautiful. And why is the concept of individual sovereignty really more important now than arguably any time in history?
Well, because we're waking up, we're coming out of the density of the nightmare, so to speak, and really we're at the tip of the iceberg. And when I look at, and they say in the Kali Yuga, and we got 1,000 years of peace, I try to return my gaze to what would it be like 1,000 years from now? What are we building? What is it that is actually emerging? And how am I that drop of water that resonates in the whole?
Okay, so let's look at what the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy is going to be bringing forth. What are the key elements of the inaugural course, Wisdom's Calling, Blessings of Liberty?
The key elements are, like Sun Tzu says, know yourself, know your adversary, and there is no peril. When we see the way that it was developed, the actual formula that's been used, that is the formula that's developed our thinking and our acting, and we begin to see that may not be, we may not have designed that. We may not have consciously had those thoughts and the resonance that we're speaking and thinking. And when we see that, we have the opportunity to alter it. We have the opportunity to alter the trajectory of the formula, the process, that has been designed, that through which we've been designed to express what I call the war powers. The war powers overlay in our culture, and when we work and we take responsibility for altering that, the war powers has no power. The war powers, now we begin to bring the divinity. We alter the product by altering our energy, and the outcome is completely different.
So you see, what I love about this approach, your approach, and now our approach with the Academy is that it's also corresponding to vanguard science, quantum science, understanding, torsion values, scalar values, fractality, that the individual is a fractal of the whole, and the individual impacts the whole. So I can and must impact the whole field of reality by perfecting and alchemizing this being, this aspect, this fractal?
The whole, not just, we tend, because we've been so separated in our thinking from being the powerful beings that we are, from having the influence that we do, from bringing the live divinity to action. We've been trained that it's a spectator sport. Thousands of people sit in the stadium while a few people play the sport. And we see that in our TVs, in our production. A few people are out there, and we're watching and we're seeing and we're resonating with what they're saying. And we think it's over there, when in fact, we're creating, through our listening, the ability for people to resonate with our divinity.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. And, you and I had a conversation yesterday. We were in a meeting with a whole bunch of people. One of them was the Secretary General of an intergovernmental organization that has been founded 30 years ago, Professor Matthew. And that's an institution that was founded really through the white hat kind of military intelligence over 3 decades ago, in advance of where the world was heading. So that in the conversation with the professor, a point was raised, because we're looking at intergovernmental organizations, multilateral institutions, where the intersect is going to be with the New Earth nation, because we're establishing the New Earth micronation in Tennessee, and we're establishing, you've already been architecting the New Earth ecosystem as a diocese, as a ministry. And it's not a shoddy undertaking. This is a complex, convoluted undertaking with multiple trusts, irrevocable trusts, all nested within it, in order to protect all the different moving parts of an entire panoply of creation that our ecosystem is involved with. So we're incubating technologies, for instance. They have to be protected from those agencies and those entities that would seek to destroy them and prevent them from getting to market. So you're not going to get a free energy technology to market, because the status quo, the governments, the statutory requirements of the regulatory authorities will prohibit any real breakthrough energy technology getting to market, because that's going to come against the oil and gas hegemony, against the central globalist hegemony, against the central priest banker hegemony. So technology doesn't advance because of that. Medicine, health. I just saw today Bobby Kennedy, God love him. Let me see if I can find this. Marsha, you'll love this quote. I hope I saved it, which I normally do frantically. I normally grab balls. I didn't. But it was Bobby Kennedy. It was Bobby Kennedy basically declaring war on the FDA and the CDC and the AMA today, or yesterday, in a beautiful posting where he was essentially saying, we're coming for you, you sons of bitches. We're coming for you, in my language. We're coming for you. If you work in the FDA, this is what he said. If you work in the FDA, 2 things: pack your bags and hold on to your records, because we're coming for you. Wow. That's the first time I've ever seen a senior political figure and pundit. Certainly, if Trump comes in, which many are expecting, and he appoints Bobby Kennedy as his Tsar, it's over. Those regulatory authorities are over. That third-party intervention is over. So I'm illustrating a point here. We're building an entire universe, a New Earth nation. We're creating the IT infrastructure to make that creature functional so it can work all around the world. We've got land holdings that are being offered to us all around the world. So we're in a very serious position, Marsha, where we're looking to, Dr. Manley is very involved. We've got a very, very big team now. But the point I'm trying to make is this. That conversation with Professor Matthew yesterday, Marsha, when he said there is no such thing as international law anymore. No one understands what international law is. There is no student, there is no one teaching international law. How the hell did that come about without us being aware? When we presume that everything is taking place under the thrall of international law.
Well, when we begin the discourse of the blessings of liberty, we will see exactly how that came about. We'll see the formula, we'll see the overlay. And when we look at, and we're talking about over there, and yes, God bless Robert Kennedy, and God bless all the cleanup that is being done, because and the cleanup that we do in the blessings of liberty is when we say, oh, there's a technology over there, an immediate thought, well, that'll never happen, or that is the subtle alchemy. That is the subtle alchemy that comes from our direction, and we see it played out in those forms of the third dimension that begin to limit the access to the technology, to the divinity, to the things that we know it, and we will find out even in a more deep understanding of who we are to be this transition.
Right. And how long do you think it's likely to take the average punter off the street, interested in the subject of sovereignty and reclamation of the straw man, all of that? How long do you think it's really likely to take someone who's green around the gills to understand this kind of philosopher's stone that essentially we're cooking up? Is this something that someone can pick up in a couple of weeks, or is it something that requires the gestation of time?
Well, I've organized it over a 10-week discussion, the 10-week discourses, because I take pieces of it and we chew on it. In the beginning, the person off the street many times doesn't realize that they've been so manipulated. And when they begin to really see the manipulation, they go through their own cleansing psychologically, physically. They go through whatever they go through till we get to that core point and begin to realize that we bring the substance to the transition. The form of what we're looking at, that oppressive form, we have to look at as if, just like in any cleansing. We still don't have to examine the fecal matter of the cleanse. Once we get to the cleanse, we can transform to something we couldn't see before the cleanse.
So if you don't mind,
I say 10 weeks. I've
Okay.
set it out for 10 weeks. And in today's climate, 2 years ago, when I started this at 10 weeks and people were still grappling with it, the momentum of our being who we are has altered in the last 2 years. It could be 5 weeks. We could cut this down faster because people are more ready to take the responsibility and be the change.
That's beautiful. And isn't that precisely why we ought to welcome the deconstruction of reality, even though it hurts, as we see the high street collapsing, economies collapsing, and all the kind of normative edifices of our reality, they're deconstructing and imploding. And there's a sense of terror, and we're under siege, and we're variously neurotic and psychotic. But actually, all of that is a very healthy, in a sense, a detox. Symptoms of detoxifying from the false light age, right?
Exactly. We go through our spiritual Herkheimer's. We have to upheaval here to get to that point of neutrality and that peace that we really carry, and that has been overshadowed.
So you say 10 weeks could really be the peace that I would agree with that. But it's taken you a hell of a lot more than even 10 years to alchemize these processes so that you can instruct, and we through the Academy can give the best in class instruction in the world. What, for instance, yourself, if you don't mind, speaking about you can comport yourself in a strange way. When you drive around, do you drive around with driver's licenses and things like that on your person?
Well, I have one now, just out of being forced to be arrested or have one, and I'm going to cancel it again. The truth is, I have that has been recognized until recently, and understand it's wise to know that there's a war against us out there, and to have those tools to go for free passage in occupied territory. And for years I have, through the affidavit, that we will begin to work with in the Blessings of Liberty have presented through my affidavit of public ministry, my neutrality, and have been protected by war powers until recently. There is an active war against people trying to break the mold. So I do right now. That doesn't mean I always will. And that doesn't mean when I meet somebody whose job is to express war powers, how I present myself in the moment. I may present the documents they're willing to see. It's a relationship. It's a dance. It's not a form. You've got to be one way or another.
Yeah.
Who am I in the matter at the time? I'm either representing myself through war powers perspective, or I'm bringing my divinity forward for the protection of war powers.
Beautiful. When you say war powers, just define the war powers, if you will.
Since Abraham Lincoln and well before that, while we're sitting in countries that have been taken by conquest, that have been taken by claims and taken by war powers, people have been killed and the land has been stolen. Those war powers and still exist. The first executive order was issued as the Lieber Code by Abraham Lincoln, and that was an exercise of war powers because the civil government had broken down. There was no civil authority because the Congress didn't come back. It was literally broken. So the war powers were necessary to preserve the peace of the nation, to continue like they have now, right now, the continuity of government. There is no civil authority until we as the sovereigns come in and rebuild what we're talking about. They have a duty to protect and to maintain and to exercise martial law, military rule, war powers, and we have it very active today. They can only relinquish that when we truly come forward with a viable opportunity, with something that actually is something that will work to bring and preserve the peace and to bring our cultural perspective back in with a structure for management. And then the war powers can diminish. But until we know who we are in that process, there's no viable alternative.
Isn't there a simpler way of us simply being able to lawfully and possibly even legally just disentangle ourselves from the draconian complex, cut a given cord, and then leave Sodom and Gomorrah altogether, wholesale, return to the soil? Is there not a premise wherein and whereby any good human can simply enact, embody, and manifest that outcome without too much complexity?
When we cut the cord to the way that our thinking has been designed, yes, that there is that we cut the habit of our thinking that has been designed, that it has actually thinking us. We're not having the original thoughts. We're not presenting our divinity. We're socialized, indoctrinated to our own thinking. And so that's what the Blessings of Liberty is about. How do we observe that? How do we see, is that me thinking? Where did that thought come? How do I know for sure? What is that thought? Would I make that thought up in my divinity if the thought that whatever I'm thinking, like the technology, oh, that'll never happen. Oh, it's out there. It's not. So when we begin to come from the responsibility in here and examine what we're saying, and examine what we're thinking and coming into the universe, we see in the water quality how that thinking impacts the water. We're all water. The fluidity of our thinking really creates the manifestation of the structure, the substance. We're the substance of the form that gets created.
Oh, that's so beautifully put, Marsha. That's wonderful. So again, just to underscore, we began an undertaking this year as we start to see, certainly this is my rationale for the Tennessee project, which we're calling the Golden Ticket, because it's a movement that we've begun, which is going rather well. And we are inviting people from America principally, but not entirely, around the world as well, to buy into what we're doing and to lean into it and participate in it. So it was, we've got multiple land holdings in Tennessee that we're looking at. We're signing off on that imminently to make a determination about which land holding we're actually going to acquire. Our land scouts are out there on the ground. We're still very excited about Tennessee. And I'll tell you another curious thing. When that hurricane hit and all that flooding happened a few weeks ago, I was in Southern Africa, and a fair few comments came on social media going, I bet Sacha Stone's changed his mind about Tennessee now. Not a bit of it. Actually, it made me all the more resolute that we've chosen the right place. And then we had a meeting, a crisis meeting with our team, and our land scouts came on and said, well, actually, all the land holdings that we've been designating are on dry land and on high land. And so we'd already taken that position. But the golden ticket in Tennessee is what also inspired us to launch the Academy quickly, because if we're going to be inviting people in the Americas initially and then around the world to start congregating, coming together into a fellowship, defining that fellowship, and then pegging that fellowship to a given piece of soil, and then claiming the title to that soil away from the war powers, bleaching that from the liens and the encumbrances of ancient treaties and compacts, and then reconfiguring relationship with that soil, we figured that we ought to actually launch an academy that can really walk people through that process. And that was the genesis really of this NewEarth Academy. Dr. Mannerly, having been a professor even up until recently, I think the last university you were a professor at was San Francisco. You're now full-time in the saddle, working with the Tennessee Golden Ticket project, our micronation. You're full-time with us now. You've been seeing the growth patterns. You've been a part of it over the last few weeks. How do you feel about this academy? Being an academic, how do you feel about the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy, and what do you have to illustrate?
Thank you, Sacha. Hi, everyone. My name is Maneli, and I was actually assistant professor at University of San Francisco, and I left after 7 years because I saw how corrupted the academia was, and I kind of feel very blessed to be able to work with you and Marsha and Ali on Sovereignty Academy. I think it's the most exciting, one of your most exciting initiatives. And we are going to start with Marsha's course, but we will bring other teachers, and also Marsha may teach even other courses in the future.
Beautiful. And Ali, speak to this, if you will. You'll need to unmute your microphone. But just, you know, as I said, when we were on tour earlier this year, we really forged this idea of kicking this academy out. Of course, the NewEarth University has for a long time done coursework with UCC and what have you. And this academy is very much will be tethered to the NewEarth University. But can you just describe a little bit about the coursework? How are the courses structured online?
I can share my screen. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Ali, do you have anything to say by way of introduction?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to introduce our new online academy platform.
Okay. Share your screen here, Maneli, and then Ali and you can both just interject and speak over it.
So we've designed it to be very...
Christy, you're going to have to help me here. Can we, because I can't see it. There we go. Thank you. Take control.
Wonderful. So the path to sovereignty begins here. It's a very, we've made the platform very dynamic and collaborative and easily navigatable. So this is what you guys can see right now. Like, before you purchase anything. Once you do become a member and you choose a course or discourse to join, there will be a group for that discourse. You'll automatically be put into this group, and there will be a chat room where everyone can collaborate and message each other, and the mentor, Marsha, or a mentor of another course, whoever the mentor is, will be able to write to you there and pin things for you to see them, and upload documents. They'll each have their own libraries of things that they would like you to be reading. And it's all just very collaborative, and that's what I feel is very important. I've taken different courses in different classes, and until I became a member of an academy, that made everything so much easier. And it was like, because we're unlearning so much and relearning everything. So it's like, and nobody around me, well, from my experience, nobody around me was learning these esoteric law forms. So it was like, it was so beautiful to have a community, have access to a community. And so that's why I helped direct the building out of this incredible platform to make it just so perfect and effortless and really amazing.
So the idea is that people come to NewEarth academy.newearth.com. Is that the current URL?
Yes, academy.newearthhorizon.com.
Got it. And then they'll come to the pop-up and they can sign up through that pop-up page. Is that correct?
Yes. Manali, can you refresh so that we can see the pop-up?
Yeah. It's just kind of staying on that one page from what I can see.
When you go to the website, there will be a pop-up, and it will ask you if you would like to leave your email for future interest. And then you'll be the first ones to know when you're available to sign up for this first live discourse.
Very good. So the first coursework is kicking off when? Do we have a definitive date?
By November 21st.
Okay. The November 21st is, at this stage, dateline 0. Is that correct? Manali, are you with us, or have you fallen off? Are you with us?
Sorry, no, I was trying to refresh the page. So.
And on the homepage, if you scroll down, there'll be upcoming events, and you'll see the first discourse will be on November 21st. And it lists out the first 3. If you're unable to catch the live discourse, you will be able to replay it on your own time. And you can always replay it as many times as you would like.
Very good.
And if I may say, make the live discourse if you can.
Yeah.
Your energy coming in alters the outcome. Everybody in the quantum field, when we come in and with our own alchemy, there's no way I can predict what the outcome of the discourse is going to be, because your energy alters the experience and the product that is present. So that's why I make it a live discourse. It's not just a recorded version. The live discourse is now. The spiritual messages that come to us and through us are real time, and we have an opportunity to be that change as the discourse evolves. Another thing is that while the Blessings of Liberty is the first course that's designed, and I call it in the area of self-discovery, I'm looking at now, once we've discovered ourselves, how do we express that as self-mastery? Where do we look for mastering that out into the world? And how do we become competent as those divine beings in the face of what the world has brought for us to cleanse out there?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Sacha, can I add something? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to say that this is honestly, I think, once in a lifetime opportunity, because Marsha is very busy and she's going to teach this course live for 10 weeks. We are going to have Q&A at the end of each session. So for the future, we may do the recording of the course and add Q&As, but this is your opportunity to really be with Marsha for 10 weeks. And if you are a golden ticket member, it's included in your membership. If you are thinking to buy a golden ticket, this is the time to do that. And we also provided 20% discount for Lazarus Initiative members. So if you are thinking to join Lazarus, this is a great time, because you get 20% discount to join Academy.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Manelli, very much indeed. Okay, just to underscore, March, and I know I'm kind of being repetitive, but I just want to get this into my audience's mindset. Who is the ideal participant for the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy's programs, and why is it essential for them to consider joining now, at the beginning, at the onset of the coursework?
Well, somebody who's the person who's ready to come forward and be part of the new earth, to be part of the new thinking. You know, we sit back in our homes and think, well, if only it were this way. Bring that to the discourse, bring that to the table, bring your divinity, because just like the bacalar and the laguna, each one of those water molecules contribute to the beauty of the water.
Beautiful. Love it. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Dr. Manali, thank you very much indeed. Ali, thanks. And Marsha, thank you. We obviously work every day as a team with our greater team. So I'll be seeing you later today in various Zoom calls and conference calls over the coming day or two. But thank you for joining me on Lazarus today. I'm very, very grateful for the time you guys have taken. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. We are so blessed.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Ciao.
Very good, friends. Okay, as we sign off and introduce the next panel, I just wanted to, oh, balls, Christy, you took down would you mind just sharing it again? I just want to play the Academy media piece again. I was planning to close with it, give myself a chance to run to the ladies' room.
Government is mandated to serve humanity, not to enslave it. Laws are purposed to ensure justice and remedy, not become the utility of slave masters to penalize and oppress humanity. Police and civil servants are sworn to protect us and ensure the smooth function of society, not to terrorize and bully the common folk. No part of the status quo serves the living so long as the apparatus of governance is weaponized against reason and against the pulse of humanity. It is time to turn the tide. Break free from the past and embrace the eternal. Your journey to sovereignty starts here. Introducing the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy, born from a global awakening, guiding us beyond the old systems of control. Enter your highest realm, your divine birthright. Reclaim your sovereignty and align mind, body, and soul with a noble path. Crafted to empower those seeking true sovereignty, our coursework guides you through overcoming personal and external barriers. It leads you from self-discovery to profound spiritual alignment, enabling you to embrace your highest potential and activate your sovereign self. Unlock the power of true freedom. Join the NewEarth Sovereignty Academy today. Become part of a vibrant community where connections deepen, spiritual growth thrives, and love radiates. Your journey to empowerment begins now.